Hello everyone, I am here to watch back the Splatoon 3 Direct. I did this with Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, which had some egregiously bad examples, such as the echolocator circling the reticle and the recon stackable ability for Splatoon 2. I don't think we're going to find anything egregious this time, but I haven't watched this since launch, so it's a good way to look back at how they showed off the game. Some things that aged well, some things that didn't. And just off of pure memory, I already have some things that I think I'm going to want to talk about that I'm going to find interesting, especially since this comes with the perspective of, like, this is kind of when my channel started blowing up. And so, I have a lot of things that I can talk about from this time. So, yeah. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy, and let's go. Let me know if the volume needs any adjustments, but it should be okay. I think I've done this right. So we'll see. Is this, like, the only time we've seen the Squid Research Lab? Because I think it is. Yeah, I remember this opening.
This is Splatsville, in the heart of the Splatlands. Despite its old-fashioned appearance, it's seen enormous growth in recent years. It's also the hottest new place for Inklings looking for things to do. Oh, hello everyone. Hope you're all staying fresh.
I mean, Splatsville looks pretty much the same. I can't really notice anything that's changed. So I don't think we're gonna have too much here. I think she did a really good job with it, honestly. I like the presenter for this one.
Ink in kit form and smoothly swim through it in swim form.
But yeah, the start's not gonna have too much. It's kind of just catching people up who aren't familiar with the series. Gotta get over the basics. But I remember this being paced very well.
Today, we'd like to share some new findings on these Inklings, while providing summaries throughout.
There's also some reveals in this I really like.
Inklings also applies to the Octolings. We're sure of it. First, Turf War. Get styling with some fresh fashion, and get inking with even fresher weapons.
I think everything here was stuff we've seen before at this point, if I remember. This is all repetitive. Okay, I want to talk about this here while we're here with Mincemeat, okay? So, I remember there's some old clip of me saying that Mincemeat might be good. And in general, if you watch back people watching the Direct in general, they're not going to have that many comments on the stages. You might be curious why. And I will say, like, one thing that I remember that caught me by surprise when the game came out, and they don't really talk about. When people saw walls like this, most people assumed these were just inkable walls. Because, like, that's what was intuitive at the time. So, people just thought you could paint this. Like, I remember thinking you could paint this at first, right? I think partway into the game I realized it. I don't know if I commented on it. But, like, especially all the way back watching this, I just go, oh, okay, no one's painted this wall yet. Because, like, you know, that's just what we'd assume. In Splatoon 2, this would just be a paintable wall. As much crap as I'll give Splatoon 2 stages, this would be a paintable wall in that game. So, it was really funny looking at this and, like, we didn't realize it. But I'll have more to say when we get to the Splatoon 1 stages. Because that is something we did take notice of right away.
Inks the most in their color.
Or, not right away, obviously, on first viewing, people are just like, oh my god, Hammerhead's back. But, like, you know, watch it back and they're like, hey, this looks a little different.
That's not all inking is for. Ink walls to swim up.
I mean, the stages are the same in the trailers as their launch version, but, like, obviously different than the ones we have right now.
The more ink you spread, the bigger the advantage you'll have in battles. Whoops. If you're out of ink, submerge in it to refill. New techniques.
Also, I don't know if this, like, version of this song is available anywhere. Like, you heard that little guitar riff? I don't know if I've heard that in-game ever. Is that, like, some custom thing they have for this trailer, or is it actually available somewhere?
The Squid Surge to swim up walls in a...
This was the second time we saw Squid Surge, by the way. This was the second time. We saw the first one in the very first trailer, and this is literally the same surge spot. It's just with a bow instead of a range blaster. That's on Nintendo Switch Music. It's custom for the trailer. Cool. But it's like, this was legitimately the second time we saw it. It took a year and a half to get a second Squid Surge showcase. Which I think was a very bad thing. I said this before it came out. I think Squid Roll and Surge were very mishandled. These should have been showcased way more.
Single burst. And the squid roll to jump out of ink while simultaneously turning around have also been spotted.
I like that they show the attack parry thing.
Oh, while it's glowing like this, the move also slightly repels ink from opponents.
Like, this showcase is fine. It's just, this should have been talked about way sooner than this.
We've discovered.
Though to be fair, I don't even think it glowed in the first trailer. I don't quite remember. So maybe pairing wasn't even a thing. But I know it was a thing by the third trailer.
Will take place.
Because that's when we talked about it.
Stages confirmed for the Splatlands include Scorch Gorge.
But yeah, like Scorch look at this and we're like, you know, like people don't think this is that big a deal. Like it's different than the launch version, but it's like, okay, well, you can, yeah, I guess you have to paint the walls a little bit more. Especially because remember, in the first trailer, this part of Scorch down here was paintable. So from our memory, it's like, oh, people painted this wall a year ago. So surely you can still paint it now. Because it would be really weird if you couldn't. But no.
Eeltail Alley.
Eeltail looked worse. I don't have a justification for Eeltail. I'll defend some stuff and not others. I don't know how we looked at Eeltail and thought it was better. I think it, like, graphically looks a bit better. I kind of like this version more. But in terms of the layout, no. This should have been our first clue that something was wrong.
Mincemeat Metalworks. And Undertow Spillway.
I remember speculation as well about, like, the Undertow, if, like, well, now you can't because of the glass, but I remember people thought about how much this might change. It's kind of interesting.
There seem to be other stages as well.
Hagglefish was the first time we saw it. I remember it having a positive reception because it looked better than Starfish, and I will say that I do think it is just straight up better than Starfish. Starfish was really bad. And, like, the sides of this map are limited, but they are better. They are definitely better.
A pier filled to the brim.
Yeah, there's no poles in these versions.
The stuff here looks fishy, though. Several stages from Greater Inkopolis also return. Museum Delfonsino. Battles here take place in the central courtyard of this modern museum. Take special note of the...
I think Museum mostly survived its rework. This is where we could tell there were some changes, like the glass on the left side over there for the tower path was pretty obvious. Most of the changes we saw here were good. But this looked different than the version of Museum we saw originally. The Museum we got a bit ago was much closer to the Splatoon 1 variant, if I remember correctly.
Rotating wall. Hammerhead Bridge.
This is Bridge. But yeah, we didn't know the Museum jump was removed at this point. We weren't sure what happened.
This bridge
then there's
Greater
Bridge.
Inkopolis to the Splatlands. After lots of
yeah. This one just looked worse. I don't remember when I talked about if they ruined the stages. I don't remember if I talked about this as being worse. Because I did do a video on, like, if they ruined stages, which I'll talk about in a second. But I hope that I hope that I pointed out that this was definitely going to be worse. Because, like, this should be obvious.
construction work.
But who knows?
Finally open.
Like, there was so much hype around that time. Kind of hard to focus on stuff like this.
Thanks to the bridge, transit to and from Greater Inkopolis is...
But yeah, I don't know. This just looks like... I mean, it's great that it's finished. It's a cool lore detail, which I think is what people were... I think that's what distracted people in the moment was like, oh, wow, the bridge is complete. That's such a cool lore detail. That's awesome.
Much easier.
And then thinking about it, it's like, oh. And then Mahi. Okay. People noticed the islands. I remember commenting about the islands. I thought the rest of mid was fine. And, yeah, I don't know how I thought that. I think I just assumed this was a lot bigger than it actually was. Because Mahi on launch, like, pre-rework, was small. This was tiny. Like, even tinier than it looks here. I do like the new spawn region. I probably pointed that out, which is good. This was the only problem with S1 Mahi spawn, is that it was bad. So this was great. I still think, like, this part should be attached to S1 Mahi to make it, like, the best version.
Mahi Resort.
I forget if they show the water
A luxury
at a good
resort
angle.
in Greater Inkopolis. Pay close attention to the platforms.
Yeah, they show the water.
As the battle goes on.
Wait, is there not even... Why is this missing? We found something different. Look. This big island is missing. And there's like this little bit over here. That's different. Oh yeah, we thought these were gonna be bounce pads. Dude, it would have been cool if they were bounce pads. I still think they should have been. Like, I'm not even a big put bounce fans in multiplayer type of thing, but look at where they're positioned. If you had to use the bounce pads to go up here, that would be legitimately so cool. Huge error? No, like, that's probably just how the stage, like, I guess this is like an incomplete version of it. Because, like, it's in this shot. So I'm guessing that shot is, like, a different time. I'm trying to look for something else. Yeah, it's like whenever the water drops, it's different. But here, without the water dropped, you can still see it. It still is the complete portion. But that's interesting. There's the first thing that we saw, right? Like, this is missing. This is the first error we've encountered. This is a mistake. It's supposed to be a thing here. There's no island over here.
Areas to ink afterward, so don't forget to splat them. Including the stage.
And then we just saw screenshots of these. And, like, back then, people didn't mind Sturgeon as much. I think Inkblot and Mako are, like, staple S2 maps, so people were fine with it. I saw Sturgeon as, like, okay, it at least has a gimmick. It has a gimmick and it was fine in S2. This stage only works in S2. It does not work, like, without specials that make people move. And then people already knew Wahoo World was bad. Why is Wahoo dark? I don't know. I think... Oh yeah, this is an error too. You notice the beams over here? They're not purple. So, like... I guess this can really show that, like, even by this time, they were still finishing things up clearly. Like, you can still spot these little errors. Nothing as drastic as, like, the Gambit sub-abilities or anything. Sturgeon wasn't butchered. Sturgeon was always bad. It worked because of the game it was in. Unless you mean Sturgeon Rain, right? Because of the sponge and all that, which, like, yeah, I get it.
As you see here, a total of 12 await.
Mincemeat also has different lighting. In this screenshot, you might notice Mincemeat's lit a little differently. I think Mahi is also darker. Wait, Mahi's still missing the island down here, I think. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think there's no island over here still. I think this might even be slightly different in terms of lighting as well. It's like, you can see there's a bunch of different things that they were tweaking, I guess. Right side wall. Right side wall? Nah, that's just off screen. Oh, no, wait, no, you're right. On this side, there's no right wall. Good catch. Good catch, Rye. Yeah, right over here, there's no right wall either. So, just more signs that things aren't completely done yet.
More stages will be...
And then we didn't know for Flounder. We had no idea about the right tunnel. Because you can see it's cut off. You can't tell there's no right tunnel over here. We wouldn't know. The rail's not here either, but I think that's just a version where there's no rail normally. But yeah, we can see Flounder. I still liked making Flounder shorter. And oh yeah, here's another one we couldn't see. Can't see that this wall isn't paintable on this side. So we saw they added a wall, but not that it's paintable. So that was hidden. This right side being paintable, again, people might have assumed it would be. Or at least they saw this and thought it might be okay. And then the trench being gone is hidden. Again, you can make the assumption from, like, this umbrella up here that's out of bounds, but you don't know for sure. Another thing we didn't know, though, is that this bottom right side, I don't think it's shown.
In free
Yeah, it's definitely not. This bottom right side is also way thinner. So, unfortunately, a lot of the bad Flounder changes were things we haven't seen. And if you look at Umami Ruins, this is just straight up a different stage. Umami Ruins is completely different. There's like this great path over here. There's a central area here, high ground, building cover. This middle part is like, we know this is all inkable walls. This was all paintable. All of it, all of it, all of it. It's really hard to see like what Umami would have been. I guess this like matches in a middle, and then this snipe area seems to cut off with the glass, but it's like, This is just straight up a different map. So people who said that Umami looked good from the direct, because it did. This, like, it didn't look amazing. It's still kind of narrow. But, like, this was a different map. Umami was super early into development. I'm willing to bet that Umami was probably, like... If we go with the theory that they heavily changed stage design partway through, I'm willing to bet that Umami was developed a lot sooner, and that's why it came out later in the summertime, instead of coming out recently. Is that they massively had to change it, which we know they did. So, that is interesting to think about.
Launch updates. Now, let's get into
Alright, enough about stages.
Battles. Weapons. First, it appears that all the basic weapons from previous games will be available. On top of that, Splatland-specific weapon types, such as the bow-like stringers, will make their destructive debut. We've also verified a new weapon type.
Yeah, they didn't really show off stringers much. They're like, yeah, it's in the game. We didn't really see it shooting at anything. We just saw the shot of them shooting. And then here's Splatanas, which we never knew about before. Now, I'm going to do a video on Tri-Stringer later. I don't know when that'll be out relative to this one. But I do want to pose this question in chat while I'm here. Do you guys think that Splatanas should have been the flagship weapon for this game instead? I'm not having an opinion on this right now. I'm not stating my opinion. I'm just asking the question, right? Should Splatanas have been there instead? Okay, wow, it is like a unanimous agreement in chat. That's not what I expected. Someone said Stringers fit the 3 theme better, which I agree. I think that's probably a big factor. Because, like, dualies fit 2. Anyway, something else to point out. I've mentioned this a little bit, but here's a good time to mention it all at once. If you go to Alterna, you'll notice that Tri-Stringer is there and Stamper is there, but Splatana, Wiper, and Reflux are not there. From what I can gather, okay, Splatana Stamper was the one that was developed first, which would explain why it's in Alterna. But I'm guessing, given, you know, accessibility problems, it has a low win rate in the random weapon challenge. It's considered one of the harder weapons in the game, even back then. I'm guessing in playtesting, Stamper was probably not the best introduction to the class, and so they swapped it with Wiper being the introductory weapon.
This is the...
Which is, you know, what we have here, and what gets shown off over here. But that might also just be something that happened within development, which is kind of interesting. And then Reflux was, like, probably developed second. Not too hard to figure that out.
Splatana Wiper. Send blades of...
I do wish Stamper and Reflux were available in the test fire, though. Because they weren't. We didn't get to play either of those. At this point, we only had, like, a picture or two of Stamper that they showed off. We knew it had a burst bomb, and we found out later it had caster. And then I think we knew Reflux had missiles. I don't quite remember.
Ink flying with the centrifugal force.
Yeah, Joy has data on the random weapons challenge. I'll hopefully throw it in the edited video, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it, honestly. I just remember going over it. Let me actually just DM Joy and say, do you still have this? But yeah, I remember Joy sharing that with me at one point, and yeah, Stamper had very low development time. I'm pretty sure Stamper and Reflux don't exist. Oh, never mind. All right, no worries. Okay.
Generated by swinging. Swing after charging up.
Yeah, there is some things that are changed in 1.0, but I'll be covering that in the meta history video that comes out like 2 days after the stream, so I'm not going to talk about it here. But there will be a little blurb about the main thing that was different in 1.0. It's pretty funny.
And it'll transform into a charged slash. As expected, it's powerful as a long-range attack. But the charged slash at close range...
Okay, so Wiper's perception, I think, was ruined by this clip. Right?
It's powerful as a long-range attack.
It's like, there's no reason to swim closer to this guy. I'm guessing... Oh, no, wait. Are they going for the... Maybe they're going for the charge slash combo? Like, charge slash to the horizontal, because that one taps?
As expected.
But I think the problem here is that they show off Wiper like it's exclusively a close-range weapon. Like, this is already splatter shot range right here.
Powerful as a long-range attack.
Right? I have less issues with this clip. Like, this shows off the dash slash. I think that one's fine. But this first clip makes it seem like this is a melee weapon. This outranges shooters on horizontal. It has more than dually Squelcher on vertical. And it had that back then. So I think this showcase is probably why people were like, man, this is probably a worse brush. Because that's what it looks like from this way of fighting. You can't really, like, there's no real way to gauge how much the range is on this weapon. Because, like, even this shot hits the wall. So it's kind of hard to tell. I do wish they showed that off a little bit. That and, like, maybe ledge peeking would be cool. But, I mean, it is just the common theme of, like, Nintendo doesn't really showcase, you know, I'll say it, doesn't really showcase good gameplay in these. Which I wish they would. I think there's probably some outdated mindset of, like, oh no, we don't want people to, like, think the game is sweaty or anything, but it's like, show off what your weapon can do. People want to know a little bit about it. I'm not saying you have to go full-on competitive matches or anything, but, like, show your weapon attacking from a maximum range. I feel like it's not that crazy, you know?
Range is also quite devastating. But the charged slash at close range is also quite devastating. Let's
Here we go.
Weapons that can help you claim even more turf.
Dude, this should have been the sign that they took out Splash with Caster right here.
Let's dive into the weapons.
You notice how this shot, this is recreating a zip from the second trailer, but it's with Octobrush. But, like, if you watch back the second trailer, there is a zip that closely mirrors this pathing. So this is like a recreated shot, but they changed the weapon using it.
Mortar.
I get if they found Splash to be a good crab weapon. Like, don't get me wrong, Splash Burst Crab is like a top 3 kits they put in the game. You know, next to like Stamper and Ballpoint or something. Like, genuinely some of the most perfect kits they've made. And this game has a lot of really good kits. But Caster should have been moved to the second kit. I truly don't know how Caster Splash not only got completely scrapped, but Caster on any shooter got completely scrapped. We do not have a zip shooter, which feels really weird, right? We have 3 whale shooters. Wait, we do? Yeah, we do. We have 3 shooters with Killer Whale. We have 0 with Caster. Again, special distribution, not a good job in this game. Not a good job at all.
Special weapons.
You can barely tell the old bow paint is bad here, though. Like, look how bad it is at turfing over the blue ink.
These are special kinds of...
Wait, hold on. You can count up here as well a little bit.
As the name implies.
Look how slowly that counter goes up once it catches up with, like, the previous amount of paint.
Kinds of weapons that can be unleashed after filling up the gauge from inking turf.
I will say this direct does a really good job of, like, showcasing, you know, explaining things to new players to the series without, like, stopping the pacing very much. They're like, oh yeah, that's how you build special. You paint the floor. Easy. Don't spend a lot of time on it. They just stand still to die to whale, because, like, yeah, we can't show displacing people into a tri-stringer shot or something, right? Like, this isn't showing what the special actually does. It's not a killing special, it's displacement, and you need someone taking advantage of that. But the level of gameplay just doesn't make it that far, and I wish it would. Like, I just think, especially to outsiders, it would look so much better if the gameplay was, like, slightly, like, impressive. Just a little bit.
This is the Tacticooler. When it's activated...
So, we heard about this one before, I think. Or maybe it was right after where they dropped the 1-second respawn time. That had a lot of debate because it was, like, different in different translations.
Fridge appears. You'll find in-game beverages stored inside. These have a variety of effects, like momentarily increasing speed. They come in packs of 4, so take one and share the rest with your teammates.
I think that showcase is mostly fine. Though, I mean, they really only talk about the mobility buffs. You can tell the intensify action if you, like, know enough about the game to see that the surges are faster. But, like, that's about it. Doesn't really talk about the respawn stuff like it does in the tweet.
This is the Wave Breaker. When activated, it'll unleash waves around the area. It'll also mark an opponent's location.
Okay, here's one time where I'm fine with people taking damage. This is people intentionally taking damage, but it has a purpose. The purpose is to show that Wave is a 3-hit kill.
And cause damage.
See? 1, 2, 3. Has a purpose.
Try to avoid them with a well-timed jump. Finally, the Reef Slide.
Wait, are they doing, Hold on.
Try to avoid them with a well-timed jump.
Okay, no, never mind. I thought one of them was doing small jumps.
Finally,
but I think it's just, The machine does a smaller jump here probably by accident. You'll see.
Finally.
Yama, thank you for the tier 1. I thought they were intentionally showing off you could do small jumps, but no.
Finally, the Reef Slider. Build up power, then charge into opponents who need a good splat.
Yeah, this looked much better from the showcase, right? Like, you just assume the end lag isn't crazy here, and it looks like a good special. We did not know.
Once the attack ends, it'll explode and damage the surrounding area.
Because, like, he doesn't move after, so we're just like, oh, okay, this is what happens if you don't shoot. You know, like, curling has an animation, but it's not lag. You can end it early if you want. You don't have to sit through that. It's like, people are like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like if you don't, you know, move. Maybe the end lag isn't that bad. Nope. Nope, that's all lag. Ah, this clip. This clip right here. This sent shockwaves into the community. Why are you acting like Reef Sliders in S tier right now? Why are you acting like Reef Sliders in S tier right now? Because I'm talking about the launch version of Slider. They made it good in a very stupid way. So yes, I know it's good now. I know. But it's different then. Alright, this thing. Okay. So, everyone who knew anything about Splatoon, even a lot of casual players, were not happy. Like, you could see, like, no reactions from so many different people. Which is kind of funny. This also sparked me to do, like, an immediate follow-up on top of my analysis and try to break down the problems with Missile. Which is also where most of my bad comments have come from. There are so many people with shit like just dodge missiles in the comments. It was insane. And I think back then I really tried to help explain to a few people too. I would not do that. Nowadays, I don't care. If you think that missiles are like fair and balanced back then like whatever. I don't care. But that video was very popular. A lot of my post-direct videos blew up, and this was one of them where I was like, okay, there was a big disconnect between people who understood that missiles coming back was bad and people who didn't. And so I had to do a video on it. I also remember, I don't know if I'll ever find this, I think it was a TikTok of like, it was like a few characters in Up, and it was like, I'm stuck with you. Like, I don't want you here, I don't want you here, I'm stuck with you. With the, like, armor, ray, and missiles. And that is, like, one of my favorite fucking memes about this game. I legitimately love that clip. Everything from, like, Kevin talking being a stingray to the missiles color change. It was so fucking good. Like, that was a perfect example of it. It's like, well, at the end of the day, though, out of the 3 horrid specials for that game, you know, Missile, Armor, Ray, this was the best choice to bring back. And I think now, with how they balanced missiles, I don't really mind it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they're designed well. They're not. But whenever I talk about missiles, people still, like, react to them like they're this version of missiles that we got on launch. Or, like, the version in Splatoon 2. Because even missiles here, I think, had a... No, I don't know if they had a reduced radius or not. I know, they were better. They were better. Sorry. This was the strongest version of missile, technically. Which is another thing I forgot to talk about. Bomb defense was changed to sub-defense in this game. I'm gonna note that for the meta history rescript. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, to get back on track. Bomb defense was changed to sub-defense. Bomb defense prevented missile from doing 30 and 50. So this is technically a buffed version of missile in this game. However, later, you know, giant radius reduction, 15% for every single one, and a 10-second cooldown. Missiles after that are not a big deal. They are not designed well, but they're not horrible. And their balance is, like, totally fine. Even if the cooldown was reduced, it'd be totally fine. And I still see people talk about them like they're S2 missiles. That being said, they should not have brought them back. And I have another theory here I'm going to bring up. I have another one. Alright? I think that missiles were not planned to come back originally. I think the 5th Splatoon 2 special was supposed to be triple splashdown. And I don't think it was triple splashdown originally. Because we know Reef Slider is like partially reworked with Splashdown 2, but Splashdown isn't single player. I think that originally Splashdown was going to be put in the game. However, it became really clear by Endgame S2 how horrible Splashdown was, how it didn't work. And so that probably delayed / changed the rework on top of actual delays equals we're missing a special. And so to substitute it in, here's Missiles. Why Missiles the substitute? Because Whale was very clearly the successor to this special. Everything about Whale 5.1 feels like it's addressing Missile in some way. So I think that this was put in last second. At the end of the day, if they had like the cooldown or radius nerf on launch, or both, if they tweaked it properly, I wouldn't have minded as much. But we did have to sit through a brief missile meta, even without any really strong missile options on launch. We had old, not buffed horizontal Flingza, GooTuber, and like Reflux with no fighting capabilities compared to what it has now. Crazy.
Like the Tenta missiles, Inkjet.
But like the rest of this lineup, Jetpack, awesome. Storm? Sure. Oh, by the way, here's another thing. Because I remember talking about this in my analysis. This is a Vunder. Or a Sunder. I think it's a Sunder. It's so hard to get the frame. Oh, no, wait, it's after. That's what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, right here. I don't remember. I found out at the analysis. I don't remember which one it was. But I'm pretty sure this is Vunder. Or no. Sorry, Sunder, judging by the handle. I think the handle's a little different. But yeah, this had rain. This got changed later. So here's your brief undercover with Inkstorm. That never happened. It didn't even get on any of the Brellas, which is a little sad. But there it is.
Ultra Stamp.
This is Stamp. Also, I just want to point out,
Ultra Stamp.
The machine here has spawn armor. That's why he tanks this hit. Or I don't know if he tanks it. I think he does the second one. I don't know. But he has spawn armor. And I don't know why he has spawn armor. Now, you can get spawn armor over there. If you run mass QSJ, and you jump into spawn, and you jump into mid, super jump into mid, then you can have armor. But not for that long. So I have no idea why this guy has glowing armor. I am guessing there was some old glitch that kept the armor effect active, since this is all pre-release stuff. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, nobody shoots at Hammer. Of course they don't. Doesn't work. Hammer was a buggy mess, and they had to have known that by then. Well, yeah, the animations for the other specials doesn't mean they're scrapped returning. Like, we had S1 specials ported into S2 for functionality. I think even, like, Stingray is functional in this game with, like, very little changes. That's just normal. They typically do that. I wouldn't say that means they're scrapped. It just means they're like, functional here. In Splatoon 2's case, it did end up having use when they created the Princess Cannon. But, like, that, even then, had, like, changes and updates to it. Like, we knew Whale was special, we just didn't know why. Until, Princess Cannon. And then this is, this one's harder to tell as well, but this is Gold Arrow. This one actually kept it special. So that's cool. I like how the shot just sits in the Booyah. And then we got some kits here, and I think all the kits here remain consistent, if I remember correctly.
Main weapons. So find the combo that suits your splatting style.
Yeah, this one was a big one especially. It was Vunder? Okay, good to know.
Shop here to get your tentacles on some fresh weapons.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Get your
God, I almost forgot.
tentacles on some fresh.
You can actually see reflux right here. This is reflux. This was our technically first time seeing it. I don't know if I pointed out in my analysis. I think by the time I did my analysis, we knew what reflux was, so this wasn't special. But if we didn't know, then like someone big detail to point out to be like, there's just another bow in here.
Weapons.
And then you can see Carbon's new model as well over here.
This is ammo.
Is that one just an actual gun?
Weapons.
Oh no, that's Charger.
This is Ammo Knights, owned by the Chara.
Well, yeah, they show Sheldon licenses, but it's like
the
they
locals
explain.
have praised him for his wealth of weapon wisdom and sophisticated selection. Instead of using in-game currency for purchases, you'll need these Sheldon licenses.
Sheldon license.
Obtain them by leveling up through battles and by consistently using the same weapons.
Gold Dynamo top right. Oh,
these.
Yeah, you can see it up there. I am so curious why Gold Dynamo is what they showed pretty much everywhere besides the spinning model. I don't know. It was such a mystery. Gold Dynamo, dude, I'm sorry. Everything about Gold Dynamo is so funny in retrospect. I know it was like painful for Dynamo players who just did not get their kit for a while and thought they would get it sooner. But like in hindsight, it's so fucking funny. It's like the biggest troll they've ever pulled off. They just showed Gold Dynamo since the beginning of the game, and it takes 9 months to come out. Or sorry, no, I think it took a year. I don't remember if it's a year or 9 months. But like, oh my god, it was so funny. In retrospect, it is hilarious.
By leveling up through battles and by consistently using the same weapons. One Sheldon license can be exchanged for one weapon that corresponds to your level. Oh, and just between us, if you exchange more Sheldon licenses than normal, it appears he'll give you a weapon you like sooner than expected as a special reward.
I'm glad they did this. I'm going to take this time to talk about it because this isn't really worth its own video. I want to see this level unlock process changed. I really like how the test fire gave you a few weapons in every single class. I think, you know, maybe make them do a game with Junior or something, right? Get to level 2. I think at level 2, you should unlock like 2 weapons in every single class. I'm fine with having some weapons be unlockable, but I think it's a big thing for new players to like try out all the different classes. And mostly like, I remember seeing, I think it was Critical, play the test fire and be able to actually use like a bunch of different weapons, and he would cycle through a lot of them. And like, if he couldn't do that, I don't think he was going to play as long. So I think it's much better for new players if you have, you know, 1 to 2 weapons of every class at first. That's like 22 weapons to start with. You know, probably more if we get another class by then. That would be a good idea. I also like the gold tickets, but like, and like getting to ranked early, but that was only if you played S2. That needs to be for everyone. I think you should be able to unlock ranked and get weapons much faster, even as a new player. Let them figure out the pacing they want to do. Do not lock players to it. Let them explore. They will figure things out. This is a whole big thing Splatoon has a problem with. Like, it's the same thing with the rotations. They gotta play these stages at these times. Just let them play the game. Let them figure it out. I promise it will be more fun. Yeah, he did pretty good. I remember. Especially with Charger.
The Inklings and Octolings walking around town are pretty savvy about their fashion. Things like...
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
By the way,
I forget, do they show? Yeah, they show them doing rock, paper, scissors right here. Which we thought was just a cool detail, but this was actually the fest being shown off later. I really like that. That's neat.
Walking around town are pretty savvy about their fashion. Things like headgear, clothing, and shoes are just as important as weapons to staying fresh in Splatsville. Gear can be obtained in the shops around here.
I don't know if I'm gonna have much to talk about this section.
By an interesting shopkeeper. So let's drop in. This is not...
Yeah, he stopped around level 6. I remember watching it, but it's like, I think that was a big factor in it. But it might have also just been, you know, I don't know how, like, invested he was going to be in this game without, like, a traditional control scheme. That's something I hope mouse Joy-Cons fixes. I'm hoping without, like, the difficulty of dealing with, you know, sticks with no aim assist or motion controls, a lot more people will have an easier time getting into the game. Again, I think it could be huge for it, but, like, it depends if, you know, Splatoon 4 can, like, bring these players back. Or, you know, maybe a Splatoon 3 extension, but, like, there will definitely be some, you know, major casual phases we won't see until S4. But they're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting if they want to get those players back, and I hope we see it.
Tour, a headgear shop. You'll find an array of hats, masks, and glasses, so you can get ahead of the game.
Also, I gotta say, like, the time they took to update the Inkling models and Octoling models in this game was so worth it. Like, look how good this looks.
So you can get ahead of the game.
Like, the models are so much better in this game. And, like, every time they do shots like these or them standing in the plaza, you can tell how much improvement was put into it. And, like, obviously it allows for, like, emotes and all that stuff, but I think it's one of the most underrated improvements.
And the energetic nails. The snail sitting here run the shop.
I did not know this was a character. I'm gonna be real, I forgot about this guy. I had no idea this was an entirely separate character. I did not remember this person at all. Or snail at all.
This is the clothes boutique, Mana Wardrobe. It specializes in tops.
Oh yeah, I mean the game looks better in general, but I think the Inkling models are like the most noticeable people.
LaFleur might be a touch archaic with words, but this jellyfish has a keen eye for fashion sense. And finally, the shoe store Crush Station. Get a variety of cool kicks.
Oh yeah, there's only 6 options in the shop at this point, obviously.
Leather footwear. It's owned by Mr. Coco. He might look intimidating, but deep down, he's a nice guy. Probably. You're more than welcome to pick out gear based on its appearance, but they do come with abilities that can help you out in battle. Take run speed up, for example.
Abilities and also weapons were one case where I was surprised, like, when watching it. It didn't really disappoint me because there was a lot of other stuff, but, like, Splatoon 2 Direct showcased a lot of abilities and a lot of new weapons by comparison. It was very different here. Obviously, that all has its own trade-offs here, but, like, this was the only new ability we got.
This improves the squid
That's it.
and squid surge.
I'm not counting ability doubler. I'm not counting that as a new ability. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care.
Who can swap one ability with
Actually,
another.
I think that was in Splatoon 2 as well. Never mind. It's not even new. Intensify is the only new one. I guess bomb defense. I guess bomb defense is technically different, but, like, come on.
Choosing to your favorite gear.
Like, I'm glad they made that change, but I'm not counting that as a new ability either. But, like, good change. So I'll say we got one ability and one ability rework.
And if you
no new primaries.
Gear combinations as fresh as fits, you can change
Gambit eventually got to have Intensify as well. That was a
Flavor up
buff.
your fashion with whatever outfits you want. Simply splat-tastic. Welcome to the
No, ability doubler's not new. I don't know how I thought it was.
Seeking fresh battles. Turf war battles aren't the only things that happen here. You can also square off in anarchy battles, where you compete for rankings.
There it is.
Hold the active zones in splat zones. Ride the tower to the goal in tower control. Carry the Rainmaker to its destination.
Yeah, this looks bad. This was bad. Yeah, here's the Rainmaker check. It's 2 feet away from mid, and there's one of them. Dude. Come on.
In Rainmaker.
I like, that...
Or collect and throw clams to score in Clam Blitz.
Oh yeah, and the basket music is new here. This is the first time people got to realize there is now baseball music on the Clam Blitz baskets.
Duke it out in these 4 modes, which are on rotation. Want to take on a challenge solo? Select Anarchy Battle Series. But if you want to team up with friends, joining Anarchy Battle Open is the way to go.
And remember when Anarchy Battle Open was purely a casual thing and wasn't combined with League mode? Oh, we'll talk about it more because they talk about League mode in this we never got it. We'll talk about that.
Set battle modes and other options to your liking. Why not play with your favorite battle modes?
The mode text is smaller?
Friends?
I didn't even really notice.
Information about these games.
Okay. Small thing. Tower, Rain, and Clams are in the right order in Splatoon 3. In Splatoon 2, these aren't in the right order when you scroll through into PB. It was one of the most small but irritating things that I remember. I'm just pointing that out.
Alongside friends. Information about these game modes will be available soon on the game's official website.
Yeah, and we went to the website to get more info.
Now, let's talk about the features within the lobby.
Oh yeah, no jukebox. Jukebox was under this. So we saw it, we knew it was there when we got the game, but right now, no jukebox. That corner is empty.
Now, let's...
Oh, also there's no lobby terminal here, for some reason. Maybe it's because they didn't want to show it off later, but I don't think that's the reason. I think they just forgot the lobby terminal at this shot. It's not there.
Talk about the features within the lobby.
There's no Marigold too? I thought we saw Marigold earlier with the recon. Oh yeah, she's not in this shot. Even here, you don't really get to see Tri-Stringer's bad paint because of the range.
Besides being able to practice whenever you want, it's also a great place to get all warmed up while waiting for rivals.
Also, everyone was just so happy you could use this while queuing. This was awesome. I love what they did with the training range.
Next up, ghosts. Online friends will appear as 3D holograms. Drop
We
in
could
on
see the little
friends
dummy
in the
back then,
midst
too.
of battle and play alongside them. You can also join up and start a battle on the same team.
Yep. You couldn't guarantee Q and Turf on the same team until this game. Don't know why, but there you go.
You'll be able to see what your friends are up to. It appears that you can also call out to friends in the lobby and invite them.
They said 3D holograms in their 2D.
Why not
That's funny.
see these features for yourself?
Well, maybe these are 3D and like the ones in the game are 2D, like the when you're in the PB with someone.
This is where you can view battle replay.
And then we're missing thing in the bottom right, obviously, but here we are.
It appears that
You can also see Splatfest region there, but here you go, another big thing, replay mode.
can somewhat recreate recent battles.
Somewhat recreate is very accurate. That's how replays are done. It's just the inputs. It's not an actual VOD. It's just computers doing the exact same inputs that everyone did. Something like that.
Fast forward.
Dude, I gotta point this out, because it's here as well, okay? I want one change to this recon mode, or replay mode, okay? One change for S4. Only thing I want. Okay? Listen.
Fast forward.
Let me turn off the goddamn music. I know what every single song in this game sounds like at 2x speed. I know it too well, and it's not good. Please, if we can turn them off in games, just let me turn them off in the replay mode. It's not hurting anyone. I'm sorry, the songs at 2x speed are terrible. They were not made to be played at 2x speed.
Incredible.
Wait, why is there a hit marker
To another
here?
player's view. Incredible.
Oh, it hit someone down there. Also, RIP. Look at that old roller hitbox. Look at this. That kills now. For sure. Old roller horizontal. And they die.
Not only can you rewatch battles as many
And they
times as
die.
you like, but there's even
And then, yeah, you could see, obviously, you could get a lot of weapon kits here. This is where we saw Flings with Missile and some other stuff like that.
a share feature. We hope you'll use this handy tool to help you.
Dude, it was also so cool when we got the test fire. You couldn't, like, play yet, but you could see people in the plaza, and that's how we found all the weapons. Before data miners found all of them. That was so funny to just walk up to people and see like what they had. I think there's a clip of me like looking at flings and going, mine? Just because I saw like the sub open change.
Next, we'll analyze.
That was fun. Dude, I miss some of this. I won't lie. Like the speculation or talking about things. I especially miss like the second kit breakdowns. That was honestly my favorite. Just like being able to, the seagulls from Finding Nemo. Yeah, that was the clip name. Like just being able to talk about it for a while and speculate. It was so cool.
Discuss this.
The game's in a great spot right now, but I miss that little bit of speculation and new stuff.
The locker room. Here, you'll find
R.I.P. everyone who wanted apartments.
One is yours, and the others belong to.
This was a good compromise. That being said, I want to hear the Splat 1 loading screen, see that room, and be able to customize it. It's too iconic. I want to be able to customize that one day. Apartments are fine. Or sorry, lockers are fine. One day I'd like a little apartment to customize. Just because of that one shot from Splatoon 1. That's my only reason. I don't care like for any other reason. I just want to recreate that.
As you can see, you'll be able to place any acquired weapons, gear, and items to your liking.
But these were cool.
Slap on some snazzy stickers. And modify your locker's color. This is your space to express yourself.
Yeah, everyone did the
So
Moai
customize
statue
it
in theirs.
however you'd like
They
to
got
show off your
spammed.
signature splatting style. Oh, yes. Items can be obtained at Hotlantis, a general store on the edge of Splatsville.
And there's
Apparently,
Harmony.
The store manager vanishes quite often, so instead, it's run by an artist named Harmony. She used to be a regular customer here. It's got an outlandish assortment of items. Why not show the store some love by grabbing some goods? There appear to be plenty of other customization features as well. When battles start, these splash tags appear. They can be customized with a banner, badge, and title.
Oh yeah.
They can be customized with a banner.
This is totally hacked. They totally modified this, dude. They gave themselves all the badge. Or not all of them, clearly. Also, really funny, like, there's rapid 5-star, but not 4-star. This is, like, just blatantly showcased, which is fine, obviously. But it's kind of funny to look at.
Badge and title. Additionally, you can change the emote your character performs when you win a battle.
People were so happy about this.
All of these can be obtained via the in-game catalog, which will be available at
They leaked
Hotlantis.
Hero Shot. Everyone knew we were getting
By
a Hero
using
Shot.
points earned from
And
battles,
there it
you
is.
can unlock various items, like
You know, I like it. It's kind of funny that, like, canonically, Inklings are just picking up on human trends. So, like, dabbing being so late is, like, canonically fine. But there it is. And then, yeah, we also got the Battle Pass.
stuff for splash tags and seasonal gear. Following the game's launch, a new catalog is planned to be released every 3 months for 2 years. Be sure to snatch up everything you
They said new catalog. A lot of reused catalogs. And the one at the 2-year mark. The 9th one, I'm not sure about. I'm gonna say this was not completely followed through. I'm gonna be honest. I think that we should have gotten a full catalog for Season 9. But that's just me.
see in each catalog. Phew! There's still a lot of info to share, but I need to take a little breather here. In the meantime, please turn your attention toward this.
I remember this because I did a video on it kind of recently. There it is.
Introducing Table Turf Battle! Lay out your cards for a dazzling deck duel! Ink different shapes with different cards! Charge up power, then unleash it all!
So this mode was added in last second, if you couldn't tell. I mean, it looks pretty good, all things considered. But I feel like this was... I still feel like this mode was very put in as like, hey, everyone's saying the game is the same. Could we put in something different? And there it is.
Special attack. There are cards like this, and even ones like this, and there are over 150 cards.
The art is still the best part about this. Like, look at all these art pieces. Look at all this 2D art. Beautiful.
To collect in game. So build your deck and send your rivals packing.
Yeah, send your rivals that you can't play against for 6 months packing.
The Splatsville locals eagerly await your challenge.
And then, yeah, I don't know if Sheldon should have been the one showcased there. I think Sheldon looked a little off there. I remember some people talking about if, like, the model was off or something, or the lighting.
Turf battle. Every player will be gifted an in-game starter deck. Excuse me, I lost my clampoosier for a second there.
There's just no lighting. Yeah, there you go.
Battle, a 1v1
See, some of y'all remember.
battle spin-off of Turf War. It appears you can play this at the table.
This was also the only time they showed off this mode.
Be on the lookout for more
it.
details about table turf battle in the future.
That's it.
And now, this.
Salmon.
Salmon Run is a simple job that requires 4 players to work together.
They really do hide that tri-stringer long-range paint, man.
This part-time
They are not showing it anywhere.
but it pays pretty
I was hoping we just missed it, but I don't know if they show it at this point. We're over halfway through this now, and it still is not long-range painted ones.
You'll need to collect and deliver plenty of golden eggs in order to complete this job.
There's Reef Slider.
This time
Still
around,
looking
we
good.
confirmed some
Good
new
showcase
types of
on the
boss
Reef
salmons.
Slider.
So let's share our findings. First up, the Slammin' Lid. It creates barriers and protects salmonids on the ground. Get too close to it, and it'll attempt to crush you, so approach with caution.
Ah, yes.
Next, the Big Shot. It
Deltarune
fires heavy
memes were at their
projectiles from a
peak here.
distance. Be prepared for powerful
There were
shock
so many
waves
Big
when they
Shot
land.
edits. So many of them.
With new boss salmonids confirmed, make sure you're ready for an even more dangerous salmon run.
Did they show off the other stage? Or is it just this one? I know we saw the other one in the trailer. And then I know they showed the King Salmonid again. Okay. Showing them fighting the King Salmonid is cool. This should have been shown in the Salmon Run trailer. They kind of left it at this cliffhanger. They should have shown you fighting it. This was the coolest thing they added to this mode. For, like, casual viewers, hey, look at them fight Godzilla. Like, yeah, you can put it together. I get it. But, like, you're selling the game. I think they should have shown this. Made the fight look epic.
This is one of the new King Salmonids. Unbelievable! It looks like they'll occasionally appear just before you complete the job.
Yeah, this looks
On your
cool.
back is a specially provided egg cannon, and it appears that you can fire golden eggs to deal massive damage.
I still really like the King fights. It's kind of funny that, like, Coho is, like, the worst of the bosses now. Like, the other ones are way cooler. Like, imagine if Boris was what was showing off with the scream.
These battles are under a time limit, so rack up
But
as
yeah,
much
this is all
damage
cool.
as possible to drive them back.
Bro. We did not miss.
And this is the still being researched big run. We believe this is when salmonids invade the city in which Icklings and Octolings live.
Okay, is it anyone else, or is that line read a little weird, right?
Salmonids invade the city in which Icklings and Octolings live.
Why in which Inklings and Octolings live? Why not just say Salmonids invade the city? I can't tell if that was added in post or what. This feels like... No, I'm not blaming the announcer. I don't know why y'all are blaming the announcer. Guys, this is, you know, this is Nintendo. The, hey, play the Mario Kart 8 game for the Nintendo Switch family of systems channel, you know? So, like, I'm guessing it was something to do with that, where it's like, no, you have to say this is where Inklings and Octolings live. That has to be in the sentence. But, like, it makes the sentence sound so funny.
It appears that this event happens once every few months, so brace yourselves! Big Run is coming! Now, observe this manhole in Splatsville Square. This is actually the entrance to the home of the Octarians, the Inklings' longtime enemies.
This says cephalopods. Are cephalopods only Inklings and Octolings? Are there any other species that fall in that definition? Just to be technically accurate.
The newest recruit of the new Squidbeak Splatoon. You'll do battle with the Octarian army, whose members are covered in hair for some reason.
What happened to this shot? Like, what happened? This was such a cool shot. People put this as their banner.
Whose members are covered in hair for some reason.
Like, this goes crazy as a banner, right? But yeah.
Along with your buddy Small Fry, you'll explore many stages, each one full of twists and turns. Oh, I almost forgot. Story mode is perfect for getting familiar with inking turf and using weapons, so newer players might want to try it out.
I'm fine with this wording. It's clearly not labeled as a tutorial, it's just labeled as good for new players. I think the showcase does a really good job of showing that this is not hero mode, like, without... you know, it's not the same as hero mode 1 and 2. It clearly took a lot of Octo expansion inspiration. That said, this is another case where more of this should have been shown the first time we saw it. Because the trailer was like a reference to the Splat 1 hero mode trailer. You know, the pacing and stuff was the same. But it kind of left people thinking like, wow, this just looks like another generic hero mode. And it's only here where you got to see it was different. I wish they did a better job with that prior.
Well, we've come this far. What awaits the Inklings and Octolings in the end? We hope you can witness the epic finale of this Splat-tastic saga.
This wording confused so many people. So many people said, wait, this is the last Splatoon game because of this. So I'm going to clarify. This is the last hero mode storyline thing. I don't even know if it'll be the last hero mode. I hope it is. I hope it's not labeled as that. But like the last Squidbeak Splatoon storyline is done here. You know, the story between Captain Cuttlefish and Octavio ends here. That's what's done. Nothing else. But some people legit was like, wow, this is the end of Splatoon. No. Which is good. Like, you have to wrap up characters here. We have too many. I think Splatoon 3 made it obvious that there was too many damn characters. Right? So I think this is a good change.
We're back in Splatsville. From here on out, we'd like to talk about other features that'll help you enjoy your splatting escapades even more in the Splatoon 3 game.
Yeah, like right there. You see the Splatoon 3 game. So, like, they have the same thing with how you have to talk.
You can post illustrations here via this mailbox. They'll be displayed all across the city and even in stages. So put on your artist cap and post away. Vertical illustrations will also be supported. Additionally, you can grab food and drinks that'll help you in battles at the concession stand. Or use local communication to play with nearby folks in your favorite modes at the shoal. By using photo mode, you can snap
Photo
selfies,
mode was cool.
send photos to a smart
I love that
device,
they have a TikTok filter.
or display them.
I don't know, it's just kind of cool.
This is the
I need to take a picture like that for my locker
Select your
sometime. I
favorite
haven't
stages
really
at any time
decorated
and take
it.
a stroll around them. Why not get familiar with each
No
stage?
ramp. But yeah, you can see here even more like confusing stuff. It's like, oh, the wall's inkable. See? You can paint it on this side.
Prior to battles.
Aha. Oh my god, it's our third ever Squid Surge! Just kidding, they showed it a few times prior.
This is SplatNet 3.
We shot with IA a few times.
You can use this with your smart device. It contains features like checking your latest battle stats and ordering special in-game gear not sold in shops from the SplatNet Gear Shop. But that's not all. Access features like crusty...
It will not happen, but I hope Splatnet 4 is heavily toned down. Like, I think having to use a phone for stuff is just not good. I'm fine with it being like an alternate way to like add friends or check weapon stats. It's fine for that. But like, I don't think it needs to be, hey man, check the shop. There might be gear to order. Make sure you keep checking the shop. Keep opening your phone every single day so that you can check the shops. Because there's unique main abilities here. Like, I don't want to do that.
Sean's Wonder Crust. Support this fellow's...
And like, even the stat stuff, if I could pull up my weapon stats or game stats on a website on a PC, I would never do it on a phone. Because it's inconvenient to look at them there anyway.
Using ink points earned depending on the...
That said, we will get a Splatnet 4. So, it's going to be probably even more important than... So, yeah.
With your past ranks. You can also snag special wallpapers and more for your smart device. So be sure to grab them. It appears that Splatnet...
Yeah, this is like when the FOMO goes a little too far.
The Nintendo Switch Online mobile app. Next up, Amiibo figures. Scan Splatoon series Amiibo at this spot in Splatsville, and voila! Saving your favorite gear combinations as fresh as fits will allow you to easily swap outfits. Additionally, it seems you'll be able to get special gear and even snap photos together with Amiibo. And Splatoon 3 Amiibo incoming!
I have these.
Release is scheduled for this holiday. Now, let's talk about post-launch updates.
Here we go.
As we mentioned a while
By
ago,
the way, this gameplay is actually good. This is like actual like higher level gameplay in this match. Like nothing insane. Like I'm not saying there's comp gameplay, but this is like probably S rank, like a S rank level play.
Following the game's launch, a new
like this match actually flows normally. People are doing reasonable things. Like the movement is pretty good, all things considered. The coordination is good. Like this looks like a normal match. You know, besides abandoning the checkpoint. But like, this is fine. This is all I want.
High rank in Anarchy Battle. And
I don't know why X Battle wasn't there on launch, and there it is.
League Battle.
There it is, everybody. League Battle. Oops. It's still coming out, guys. So yeah, League Battle got like half turned into challenges, half turned into open, and I hate it. They clearly didn't want to do another queue, but now open is no longer a casual mode because people who want to sweat will grind power there. But then also there's the occasional monthly challenge, which is in League Battle, you know, which is a League Battle thing, which replaces a challenge instead of being gimmicky fun that people want in challenges. Nobody wins. Both modes are made worse by this. But it was very clear that they were like, okay, we can't put another queue in the game. There's already too many queues. Because X Battle is already 2 queues. This is 2 queues. Anarchy is 2 queues. All of that. It probably also affected Table Turf. But like, hey, maybe the problem is the rotation system forcing all these different queues in the first place. Just a thought. Anyway.
Where every 2 hours...
Also, don't region split X rank. Especially because regional matchmaking just exists anyway. So it's pointless. Picking JP X rank does not mean you get matched with Japan, the same as people who live in Japan. So we just made 2 queues for no reason.
You can compete in teams based on your Anarchy Battle.
Like, people are eventually going to figure that out. I don't know what to tell you.
Furthermore, for this game,
just get rid of it.
Add large-scale paid DLC.
There's the side order
Details
tease.
Will come at a later time, so please be on the lookout. And now, I'd like to wrap up this research report from the Squid Research Lab. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, see, this is another thing, Squid Research report from the Squid Research Lab. Like, it's just how Nintendo makes people talk. Why? I don't know. But yeah, like, that's a good segment of gameplay. And here we are, everybody.
Who are you supposed to be?
Deep cut. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I like Deep Cut. I think their introduction was fine. I don't have many thoughts. Like, like, this doesn't really, it didn't really change, you know? Yeah, there were a lot of Fry memes at the start. That was kind of annoying.
I forgot to tell you about Deep Cut. They're an incredibly popular.
I don't know, I just don't find that stuff funny personally, but that's just me.
Anarchy Splatcast. They provide information on battle stages, as well as other news bulletins. While we're on the subject, the youngsters of Splatsville own sea cucumber phones.
Did this mean anything? Is this the most pointless detail ever? Like, this did nothing, right? I kind of like the old Inkling phones better. Like, imagine holding this. Look at the back of them. Would you want to hold a phone like that? Imagine that in your pocket. It just jabs you in the thigh. It's in your pocket because it's got spikes on it. Like, not that the Inkling phones with the sharp arrows were much more comfortable either, but like, this is definitely a downgrade. It's just such a random thing to point out. Like, I don't think this needs to be said. Like, okay.
They can check the news while doing other activities, as shown here.
I guess that's why they pointed it out, because it's like, oh, it's okay, guys. They're canonically still watching the news on their phone. Okay. And here we go. They did a really good job making the Splatfest Plaza look good. Like, I think Splatsville at nighttime is the best looking thing in this series. Bar none. The only thing that maybe gives it some competition is the surface scene from Octo Expansion, but that holds a lot of story significance. That's not a fair comparison. This is visually amazing. It looks so good. It's legitimately insane. Like, I cannot imagine how long it took to put all this stuff here. Let alone, like, the floats and everything. Like, they really wanted all these details. Splatoon 3 was rushed. Had a lot of bugs. All that. Got delayed a lot. Clearly still a little bit rushed. Like, just, you can tell. Go look at the first patch notes of the game. Look at all the stuff they fixed. That's not normal. But it's clear they clearly... But they did give some areas a lot of development time. And you can see it. 10 on launch. Dude, Brella's on launch. Brella's and Stamp were non-functional. It was so bad. 10 was just egregious, especially because it would, like, fly. it would just fly away into the sky. Well, I didn't try to take clearly back. I just said it twice. So it didn't work, so we re-script. And then this is just a good song. I think this is all very good. Yeah, 10 Shield would fly away from you, and Machine could hit through walls. And specials. It hit through everything.
It's been confirmed that Splatfest will make a return.
Which they previewed earlier,
In these
that we saw.
events, you pick a team based on the announced theme, then settle the outcome via battle. And this time around, there will be 3 teams to choose from. Splatfest.
I feel like people were very excited for that, but now I think people don't like 3 teams. What do you guys think? 3 teams better or 2? Type 3 or 2 in chat.
Is a tricolor turf.
Alright, I'm gonna talk about tricolor briefly. It's another thing that's probably not worth its own video. Guys, I think tricolor was not fleshed out. Okay, wow, yeah, everyone's saying 2. Everyone's saying 2 teams. I get it, alright. Cosmic Cloud also said it's 2 teams. Their word is law here. Hello, Cosmic. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Okay. I'm going to talk about tricolor briefly. Guys, I think tricolor was a good idea. I hate 2 teams that are actually 1 team. These needed to be 3 teams. This needs to be 3v3v3. I want it to come back and be 3v3v3. Or 4v4v4 if the Switch 2 is powerful enough. Or have 4 teams of 4. Or something. As an alternate mode. But this did not work. These 2 teams would just shoot each other. Nobody learned. It's been like 2.5 years. Nobody learned. Everyone shoots each other. And like, of course you would, because it's fun. I can get a 6K. Like, how would you know?
War.
But it's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. I love it visually. 3 ink colors on the screen looks amazing. But yeah, I think, personally, when Splatoon 3 was coming out, I wanted a lot of Splatfest changes. And I think that that sentiment wasn't really popular back then. I thought Splatfest needed a major rework. And I think now most people are agreeing that that's the right take. We finally caught up, yeah? So at this point, I'm hoping people will come around to it.
It's a special mode where, whoa, 3 teams fight at the same time.
I wish tricolor worked,
All
though.
players on the team
Like, trust me, I
first
wish it
place
worked.
Will start in the center of the stage. 2 players each from the second and third place teams will attack the first place team from opposite ends of the stage. Can the leading team defend themselves? Or will the other 2 teams exact revenge and force them out?
Okay, signal. I think the signal's kind of boring. Like, it's a cool advantage, but the comparison with this is the Princess Cannon and Hyper Bombs. I don't know one person who prefers this over the Princess Cannon and Hyper Bombs, yeah? I don't think anyone does.
The Ultra Signal to control the battle and contribute to the Splatfest while working alongside the members of Deep Cut. Okay, we're going to close out this presentation with an announcement from Deep Cut. Take it away.
Okay, I'm gonna skip this, because we know what this is. The world premiere was cool. This was the first test fire I got to play. Very awesome. I'm not sitting through a news broadcast. It goes on for like a minute.
That's all we have to share today. Or not. And now, announcing the Splatoon 3...
Okay, I have to point this out. The teams who were invited to this did not know this was a thing. They didn't know! This is how they found out! If you were a team that qualified for this, you know, qualified, because this was just a different tournament randomly, you didn't know. You found out the same time as everyone else did. Like, surprise! You're going to PAX! Hopefully you can go in a month, right? Because we don't know. They did not know. So that's just... I find that so funny. But yeah, Synapse was in my voice chat. They were one of the people who went. I was like, yo, it's you. He's like, they're like, what? I'm like, I guess you're going to a tournament.
Enter the Splatlands Invitational 2022
So yeah, that's funny.
tournament. This event will take
I think, as far as I'm aware, everyone was able to go. So it worked out. But like, oh my god. I'm guessing they didn't want to spoil it. They didn't want to tell the teams in case they, you know, you didn't want them to leak that this would happen. So I guess that's the safest way to go about it, but...
place on September
Yeah.
5th at PAX West. Some of the top finishers from this summer's Splatoon 2 Inkopolis Showdown will head to Seattle and compete in North America's first ever Splatoon 3.
Yeah, this just qualified off of like a different tournament. Nobody knew it was competing for this. I think most players still entered. But it, you know, obviously, if people knew what this tournament was for, it probably would have been a little bit different. But, you know, that's always a hindsight thing.
Invitational. Follow the official Nintendo.
I miss Nintendo in-person tournaments, though. We got 3 of them for this game, if you count this one. You know, which is pretty good, but, you know, we didn't really see much in the past, like, 6 months. I'm hoping something pops up. You know, I hope there is some kind of NA championship again. I know there was still, I'm being a little incorrect here. There was Australian champs. Obviously, there's still King's Cup in Japan. I mean, more NA in Europe didn't really get much, but hopefully things will change.
Nintendo versus Twitter account.
Also, look at the Twitter account. One last thing to point out. It's the Twitter! Twitter! Not X, Twitter! And the Twitter logo. I don't think this is gonna get plugged next time. I don't think they're gonna plug the account for this now.
For updates.
I don't think we're seeing it.
Findings as we uncover them. Follow the official Splatoon North American Twitter account. We hope you'll have an incredible time starting September 9th. Bye-bye.
And that's it, everybody. Alright, well, this ended up a lot longer than I thought. So, obviously, compared to the Splatoon 1 and 2 directs, there was a lot, you know, less of drastic mistakes or, like, having something there. Which is expected. The quality's gone up a lot. The presentation is, like, very well paced. They did a good job explaining it to new players. I think a lot of my critiques ended up just being critiques of the game itself that, you know, got brought up from watching this, and less so of the presentation itself. I think the direct was very good. A very, very large improvement from Splatoon 1 and 2, and it was cool to see. I had a lot of fun watching this when it came out, and yeah, it still comes across as very polished. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you all later.